Hello, welcome back to the channel. In this video I want to take you round one of my original cold smokers. Now this cold smoker I built about 20 years ago. It's completely constructed from timber and stock parts, pretty much so, and the plans I've got on my website at coldsmoking.co.uk, and they're available to download. But I want to show you around this smoker because it is about 20 years old now, and it's seen a fair bit of action. I still use it to this day, so let's have a look around it. Now you can see it's made from feather edge timber. And this sort of timber is typically used for fencing, and this timber is treated. Now, having treated timber on a smoker, some people might think, well, that's perhaps not such a good idea if you're going to put food in it. However, because it's a cold smoker, that's not so much of an issue, because there's no temperature to speak of inside the smoker that's going to interact with that treatment and that's going to affect the food, so it's a non-issue. In fact, it's a great benefit because, as you can see, this smoker is 20 years old and it's still standing. Now, in its original configuration, I used to use this smoker with the smoke coming in through the base using a flexible pipe, as you can see in the setup below. Smoke comes up through the pipe into the base of the smoker, and it meets the smoke spreader, which is essentially a board with lots of holes in it that allows the smoke to spread out across the whole surface area of the smoker, so you don't just get a column of smoke coming up the center, leaving all the food on the edges unsmoked. As you can see from the inside of the door, it's moved a bit since I made it, and it's full of leaks. That looks quite nice when you see the smoke wisping out through those gaps, but it doesn't do any good for efficiency. So on the inside of the door you can see that I've stapled a piece of polythene, and that basically just stops the smoke escaping from the smoker, keeping it in with the food. You'll also notice that there's no vent at the top of the smoker, and this is quite important. In most traditional cold smokers you will see or find a vent at the top which allows the smoke to leave. In the design of this smoker, the lid on the roof is loose fitting enough for any smoke to escape. Plus you've got the loose fitting sides where there are gaps between the feather edge, and that allows the smoke to leave too. So I'm not too concerned about that, and it hasn't been an issue in the past. Now the smoker is fitted with 2 layers of dowels, which you can put your food racks directly onto. The dimensions of this smoker are all based around a standard food rack that I was able to buy from a supermarket at the time I built the smoker. Now these food racks are still available, and they still fit nicely into the smoker, and you can get 1, 2 next to each other perfectly well, and that is perfect for fitting 2 sides of smoked salmon on. At the very top of the smoker there are 4 dowels, and those dowels are basically for hanging your food from. If you want to smoke some large cuts and you don't want to put them on a rack, stick them on a hook them onto one of those dowels, and away you go. Now, when I first had this smoker operating, and I'd had it for about a year, I did notice that some of the timber started to move, and it looked quite nice and rustic. I didn't really want to change the outside look of the smoker, so I used some decorator's cork on the inside of the gaps to seal them. That's not such a bad thing. I mean, it worked for a bit, but the wood carried on moving, so in the end what I did was I just left it. But some people have taken my plans. They love the external look because it looks great in a garden, but what they've done on the inside is they've lined it with ply. Well, everyone has a different take on cold smokers, and if you've got a particular setup that suits you, do leave us a comment down in the comments section. Now, what I like to do is, certainly for ease of use and to make it more efficient for me, is to use a ProQ artisan smoke generator. Now this works for me perfectly. It's quite a large smoke generator. It gives me around about sort of 16 to 18 hours burn, so that's really good. The smoke density is perfect for this particular size of smoker. But if you do want to use a remote source and link the two together with a pipe, then that's fine too. Now, years ago when I first had this smoker, I set this up so that it drew the smoke in via the pipe at the base from a remote smoke source. And I had a dustbin. Within that dustbin I had a basket, a wire basket, filled with wood shavings and wood dust, which I would light with a blowtorch and allow that to generate smoke. I'd put the lid onto the dustbin, and in the roof of the lid it had the connection for the pipe, which then fed straight into the smoker. It's a great setup. However, it is a bit of a faff if I'm absolutely honest, and now I prefer to use the ProQ artisan smoke generator. Keeps things nice and simple, and it just sits on a metal tray in the base of the smoker. Well, I hope you liked the video. If you do like the smoker and you want to have a go at building it yourself, all the items are pretty much available at your local timber merchants or DIY store. And if you do build one, do send me some images, because I will post them, and I always like to see what people have done with it. You know, little modifications and tweaks here and there so that it suits your particular style of smoking or your particular setup. Anyway, I hope you liked the video. If you did like it, please do give us a like, subscribe, click the bell icon so you get notified as soon as we upload any more content. In the meantime, folks, have a good one, take care, and bye-bye.